Alex said, I'm Captain Villarreal Bell from Dallas, Texas, and I'll be doing some poetry for y'all tonight. So this first piece of mine was one of the first performance pieces I ever wrote when I was 16, and it is called Wonderland. When people ask me why I write, I tell them I write to process. I write so I can understand my emotions, my thoughts, why I am where I am. Sure, the recognition and the ability to create a life from it, that's all great, but I write for myself. Most of the time when I say this, it's true. But then days like today happen. When I need to write to impress, where my love stories need to be tear-jerking and full of happily ever afters, where my metaphors need to be groundbreaking and my connections make people question lives, and I wonder if this is the world I want to spend the rest of my life in. Where it's more important for my words to affect others than to love myself with. They say the most authentic poetry is brutally honest. It doesn't shy away, but what if I can't say my brutally honest? What if I choose not to harm my mind in the sake of art? What if my happily ever after simulate brother's grin? When you write for profit, for publicity, for life, as well as for therapy, you tend to forget that some wounds never heal. Some things will always be painful to talk about, that pieces of my heart will always ache. I'm human. I feel, I experience, I take things for granted and think I don't deserve much. It's the way my species is programmed, to always want for more, but question if I have earned it. A lot of the time I push myself in the name of improvement, not realizing I fall further into my Alice hole. My wonderland is a place where I cry, I love, I break, and I don't think of myself less for doing it. It's where I escape to so I can write these poems. Be vulnerable in a harmful way. Yesterday I began writing a poem like this, where I wound myself to impress the lot, and I put it away for another day. A month ago, I would have kept writing, forced myself to talk, would have been mad at myself for feeling upset for even a couple of seconds, and I know this change means I'm growing. I'm healing. But some part of me questions if this is a good thing. If all of my wisdom comes from heartbreak, if my greatest metaphors are born out of madness, if I can't write unless the tea is hot and the cake makes you change shape, why should I want to be better? Why should I want to think of myself? Why does my mind naturally move towards the dark? Why do I want to cry and be upset? Why do I choose my wonderland instead of the reality where I succeed? When you fall down the rabbit hole the first time, you think you're falling forever. That you will spend the rest of your life hitting twigs and seeing black rabbit ears. The first time you hit the floor, you find that you're not bruised. You have no cuts, no marks, no scrapes, but there's a part of you that's missing. That sensible rationale you need to survive our world is gone. Now you're loopy and charismatic. That first tea party you attend, there's so much clarity and hunger as you lift that cup to your lips, and after all the amusements are gone, you see an abyss at the end of the country. Clear as day, dirty as night. The one place the folly doesn't reach. The light shines through it, but you're scared. You can't stand on the edge because it won't hold. You can't look down because you know what's in there. You can't go across because you won't be able to return. I can't tell you how many times I've returned with the caterpillar and still no safe haven has been made, no bridge across, no way to come back. If you want to leave, you have to jump. It's scary to jump. So I stay in Wonderland, wondering if I'll ever have the chance to leave again. Writing away time until the tea party at 10. Thank you. Thank you so much. So these next two poems are from my recently published book back in September called 19 Playlist. It's on Amazon if you enjoy these poems and want to check it out. This first one is called Landslide. I blocked out May 7th on my calendar for the rest of my days so it can freeze in time the same way you are. Your birthday always reminded me of spring. New beginnings and hope, yellow flowers and the Easter bunny, but now it just feels like a void. Something for me to float around, hoping to find your ghost in my bedroom walls, knowing you are never something I'll know again. 55 years was not enough time, and now my own clock constantly screams, crumbling under the lacking I thought I'd be used to by now. I rue May 7th. I wish I could pass along just the same, without the reminder that one day I'm going to be older than you, and sometimes I wish I'd never make it to 56, so I never blow out my candles thinking I'm walking where you never did. Our memories slipping into the cracks in my brain while your picture falls into a golden frame and your weird jacket wraps around my weary bones. I never thought it'd be me carrying you one day. Fathers are supposed to make paths for daughters, and now I'm walking where you never did. How do I hold on to you? Spending the rest of my days weeping alone. Your arms were the only one strong enough to hold me up. Thank you. This next poem is called Days in the Sun. I roll my R's every morning, just to make sure I still can, as the Spanish I speak is few and far in between, and I don't want to forget a school my grandmother was so proud of me for learning. The tias and the barrio teach me to apply red lipstick when I was 6. Their nails reflected in the mirror every morning, and I forget the way their heels sounded on the sidewalk, but pretend it sounds the same as I walk along the cobblestone, because if the same stars in the barrio are shining above me, then I must still be with them, smiling, and I don't want to be forgotten. All of our roots dug up, thrown into the bottom, pit in my stomach, hardened in my organs, because ever since my father died, I've been fighting his demons. Spent the years since his funeral, itching to join him. I let myself grow in his scars. Understanding DNA, and using his name again. I remember when my mother pulled me aside with tears in her eyes and our hair cut the same. I was so much braver back then. When the barrio whispered my name along the sidewalk, the side chats, we talked under cigarette smoke and exhaled the stardust they say that I'm made from. The sunset is so much brighter in May weather. When my mother told me she isn't worried about me, waiting for me to be bigger than the family, but I walk the same speed as my brothers, strutting in my mother's heels, wearing my pressed nails, and speaking my father's name into the night, trying to remember the nights we huddled under flashlights, the heat bill being turned into kindling, money talks, which is why my words are empty. I drive around the streets we live in, calling myself a fraud. Every moment I'm away, I regret that I chose this, remembering people like me can only exist in neighborhoods that tick with gun casings at night. The barrio has always been my home. But it's the reason I left. I walked alone on the cobblestone of this college that's supposed to be teaching me a future, yet I stay teaching them a past, unrecognizable under this glass ceiling, stop speaking in Spanish, beginning to translate. Or maybe I'm just finally coming awake, finally feeling safe enough to sleep in, but not recognizing my own skin, keep wearing my red lipstick and gold hoops, trying to see the women of the barrio in the mirror I'm afraid to be perceived in, trapping myself between progress and forgetting. This last poem for y'all is called Time. The doomsday clock ticks again. Another spiral in a too short time, a line tying me to a body I'm not sure is real yet. I follow my breath to the metronome. The ticking placing me in my mind, stringing together words to explain that ticking clock always seems to be rushing me. And it's strange to think how much I have written, considering how little time I've had. The wounds I service from have not had enough time to heal yet. My young body limping across. Time is a strange habit. It's so easy to forget what day it is when your days roll together because of the nights you stayed up, the alarms from sleepovers, and the countdown of school hours, watching the clock to sneak out because it's the only time that was ours. Time has been slipping moments since the first time our parents said to savor that moment. Dripping off the lips of our elders, you're gonna wish you did it differently when you were my age, but how can I have regrets when I'm not sure I'm gonna allow time to freeze over me? So accustomed for me to not want to be here, not just in this room, but in my own arms. See, time has been pushing for me to be something better, to be further ahead. I'm only running out of time while just beginning. I only ever been just beginning, stuck in my youth, because youth is a ticking clock I always follow. As they said, I never watch a boiling pot. I push my blood before the sunrise, beyond the sunset, translating my mother tongue so my rhymes seem intentional and not unintelligible, losing my accent so I'm comprehended and not just heard. knowing tears and ink are just spilled liquids, so I write in my blood so my shine stays persistent, because time is ticking in my ear. Time is my puppeteer. Time has been telling me every year is my last year. Somehow I look back so happy I stayed, but go to bed still wanting to leave. I'm tired of dreading one more morning, because that ticking clock is counting down to something. Something I deserve to see after writing my feelings just so I stayed living with this ticking clock. I feel like a ticking clock, a countdown to worthy experience my life has been lacking, void of. Nothingness completes me, washing over me, a bath of righteousness to numb and dull me, let me slip away as the train whistles out my window. The only way I tell what time it is, because that ticking clock has my own time, which is no time, long calls at night when people don't care to look toward the noise, short whistles during the day to not disturb civilian life, and if emotions could have a noise, I realize mine would be a train whistle. So I'm not sure who's pulling back the cord as I pull back the curtains to let in the light of a new day that feels like a continued age of breaking down, cycles that keep me empty, timers of tomorrow that I set so this insomniac habit of derangement doesn't carry on to the tomorrow that is today, that is yesterday, that is my last year, that is my first year, that is my last day. Remember, I am a ticking clock, except lately I feel like a ticking bomb. I count down to a paroxysm. Maybe I am borderline, losing my mind to a tightrope of youth I never rode, an occasion of bitterness and a cycle of I don't know, because I don't know. And I don't know when my cycle of worrying started, but here I am. A train whistle of emotion rushing to expel them before the ticking stops. Time is but a construct, absolute and relative. Thank you all so much.